I'm your host, Giorgio Fernandez. Brows. Brows are 100% the most underestimated part of a woman's face. Today, I'm going to show you how to properly shape your brows, highlight them, and groom them yourself at home. So stay tuned, it's all happening here on Makeup and Style. So the first thing we're doing here is we're actually just tweezing the brow. Now, our model Cindy recently had her eyebrows done, so I'm kind of just going over what has grown in. But most importantly, I'm really paying attention to where I am tweezing. I really want to stay away from the frame to an extent, and whatever needs to be tweezed or perfected on her brow shape, I'll go ahead and do so. However, right now, I mean, she does have a really good arch, but you know, the magic is actually going to happen. The magic is actually going to happen when we're finished tweezing and we fill in the brow. So if you can see, I'm just kind of going along the brow line right now. And when you're doing this yourself at home, really be aware of your brow shape. A good way to figure out your brow shape is, first thing you want to do is you want to take a disposable mascara wand or a regular mascara wand, even an old toothbrush will work, and just brush up. And you see how you have the hairs kind of, you know, sticking up a little bit. Now, on that, the ones that do stick up, you want to kind of just skim along with your scissor. Do not cut down here, because if you cut down into it, it will be too short. You want to just kind of skim the top. Do the same thing, make sure you kind of go over what you recently just did. Now, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to brush down. Brushing down kind of gives you that nice brow shape from the top, but also shows you what's not perfect on the bottom. So brushing these down kind of shows you what you need to cut as well. So we're going to go ahead and cut that. Again, skimming, not cutting all the way to the bottom, because you will have a gap if you cut too short. And see, now you have a perfect brow. You brush them up, and they're perfectly shaped. Brush them down, and they're still perfectly shaped. Here, you still got a little bit we got to cut, but not much. And that's a perfect brow. Now, you kind of just want to go over what you just did and just tweeze along, make sure you got all your hairs, because perfect brows are key. Okay, that brow's finished. So now, you see what we did. If you're doing this yourself at home, you want to, again, brush all your brows up, or your brow hairs up, I'm sorry, tweeze the bottom along the brow line, brush them down, tweeze all on top of the hairline so you have a nice uniformed brow shape. Again, brushing down, you cut the bottom of the hairs that are sticking out, brushing up, cutting all of the hairs on top that are sticking up. The next thing we're going to do is, this is actually one of my tricks. I love using concealer, not just for underneath the eyes, but to enhance what I've just done. So she is a little red, so this helps with that as well. I'm just going to take the concealer and just going to go right underneath her brow bone, just to kind of go over what I just tweezed. But if you notice, just by doing that, that really enhances her eye. And when it comes to makeup, I mean, it's all about perfection. It really is about paying attention to detail. It's really trying to be as perfect as possible. But if you notice, look how great, and I haven't even filled her eyebrows in yet, look how fabulous they look. Okay? And this is simple. I'm just using a regular synthetic brush that I would normally use for a concealer or a foundation, and just kind of following the shape of her brow. But I'm really going into that brow shape because I really want to give her a nice arch, and that's what we all strive for, is a perfect arch. And I'm kind of just going over the whole eye. You can even go down into the eyelid if you like, nothing wrong with that. It's actually nice to have a good concealer that you use as an eyeshadow base, because it kind of creates an extra layer of skin for whatever colors you use on the eyelids to really pop out and look nice. It actually gives the eyeshadow you use longevity too. So now that I've completely concealed around her eyebrow, I'm just kind of taking it and just kind of blending it into the rest of her forehead. Doing the same thing around the nose. Seeing the difference on one side and the other. I mean, look how perfect this side, even though, I mean, she is perfect. However, I'm just enhancing it. I mean, you truly can visibly see the difference. And again, you can either use a brush or you can use your finger. But I just like the brush because I control the product better, and I'm controlling where the product is going. Look how flawless this side here. Look, it's almost like porcelain-like. And this is great for those of you out there who don't like to wear makeup. I mean, this is a perfect technique. So I'm just kind of going over a little bit of rosacea. And keep in mind too, 9 out of 10 women, your problematic areas are your T-zone. That's because that's what's closest to the sun, especially if you're living here in South Florida. So the T-zone, when I speak about the T-zone, I refer to this part here, down the nose and along the forehead, top of the forehead. But you also have the high cheekbones. And I like to just put a little bit of concealer there as well, because even though I'm not a big fan of foundation, I do love to use bronzer. And bronzer seems to work better when it actually has a surface to lay on than just going straight onto the skin with it. So if you notice, look up for me. I'm just going to go underneath her eye a little bit. Not much. Now I know you're probably asking yourself, well, I use a lot of concealer, but it does crease up underneath my eyes. Well, that's because you're probably two things are happening. You're either too dry underneath your eyes, and you should get a good eye cream, or you're using too much concealer, and that's why it's creasing up on you. But one thing you can do, which is really easy, is you take your index or your middle finger and your palm and kind of just rub it back and forth, creating good friction until it gets really, really hot and you can't bear it anymore. And then, you feel that? Mm-hmm. It's nice and warm. What that's actually kind of doing is just melting the product into the pore and making it more flawless. See? And you can't even see it. See how nice and perfect that is? That's kind of what you want. I do load it up a little bit on the nose because I am going to cover it with concealer, and it just looks a lot better. Just a little dab on the chin. Now, even though I know this has nothing to do with the eyebrows, but I'm already concealing, so I figure I might as well just go ahead and do what I normally do when you come in for an eyebrow session with me.